welcome to my channel. My name is Cristina and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. Today I'm going to do my TBR for October. So some months ago I and Sandy from Miss Readalongs and Tiffany from a channel which I don't remember the name of her channel, but I will write it down below. We were participating in the comments or the live chat of one of Noah's Friday night parties, and we decided that we were going to read Bleak House by Charles Dickens this Victober. So this is my first book. So the first book I decided that I would be reading in October is Bleak House, and another one is Woodring Heights. This is also a group read-along. I'm not sure if it's the group read-along for Victober or some other group organized. I don't know, but I know that several people are going to read this one. I had already decided to, because this is the only book from the Brontë project that Melissa from Blatantly Bookish organized that I haven't read, because I read last Victober, I read the group read was Shirley and by Charlotte Brontë, and I read it, and I also read or reread Jane Eyre. And then in January I remember that I started with Villette, then I read The Professor, both by Charlotte Brontë, then I read Agnes Grey and The Tenant of Wildfeld Hall by Anne Brontë, and the only book I didn't read yet is Wuthering Heights, and I'm going to read it in this October. Actually, this book, I DNF'd this book several times when I was younger, and then I just gave up the idea that I would read it. But now I think that I'm ready. So I'm going to read this too. Then I have two groups of people. One is the Patreon group by the Kate House Patreon group, and another one is a group organized by Mark from Book Time with Elvis. Both groups decided to read Lorna Doone by Blackmore, I think. I don't have the physical book, I have the digital book, and it's a large book too, so it's a big book, thick, and we are going to read it. I have no idea what it is about, but it's a Victorian book as well, so good for Victober. And another group read is going to be The Diary of a Nobody. This is a read-along, again organized by Mark, and it's a group where we read funny books. We started in July with Three Men in a Boat. Then in September we chose The Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole, and now we are going to read The Diary of a Nobody, whose author I don't know the name by heart. I will then write it down if I remember. And then at the beginning of the year I had decided to read Anna Karenina by Tolstoy, and I immediately bought the book. This is the translation by Richard Pevere and his wife Volkonsky, or no, Volkonsky is the count. I can't. Larissa, yes, Volokonsky. It's almost there. But then I saw that Christy Louise announced that she was going to read it with Una and Crypto from the Codex Cantina, and I don't know if someone else, in October. So I decided to leave it until now, and I don't know if I regret it or not, because this is also a thick book. So lots of big books for October. So these 5 books I mentioned are the ones I'm going to invest first, on which I'm going to invest first. because then I have many more, and I'll explain. I have 3 read-alongs I'm taking part in, which they span for several months. One is The Two Towers, the second book from the Lord of the Rings, which Ryan from some channel which I don't remember the name, as always, Seeking Stories, I think it's his channel. He organized a Lord of the Rings read-along, and because I had read The Silmarillion in July and I read The Hobbit in August, I decided to participate in this one, and it's a reread for me, and I think it's going to be easy to do. But then Alan from the Library of Alexandria, he organized read-along that lasts 4 months. We started in August with August of the Apt, so it's the series is The Shadow of the Apt by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and we read the first book in August, which was The Empire of Black and Gold, Empire in Black and Gold. Then in September we read Dragonfly Falling, and now in October we are supposed to read Blood of the Mantis. If I have the time, I will read this one. It's a series I want to read. I actually want to read the whole series, which is 10 books. So even if I don't read it now in October, I will be reading it later. And the other series I also want to read is the Dune series. I read in August Dune, and in September I read Dune Messiah, and now October we are supposed to read Children of Dune. This is a read-along organized by Evie from She Was Only Evie, and again I want to read the 6 books that Frank Herbert wrote, and if I don't have the time to read it now in October, I will be reading it later on. I'm also part of an Instagram read-along of the Chronicles of Barsetshire by Anthony Trollope. I had read The Warden in the last Victober, and I loved it, and so then I decided to read along with this group of people, and we already read books 2 to 5, and now in October and November we are supposed to finish the series with the last Chronicle of Barset, and I don't know if I have the time to read it or to start it in October, but if I don't, I will be reading it in November, so I will be on time for this read-along as well. There's another read-along I'm participating, which is the George Eliot read-along. I skipped Romola because I had too much on my plate already for September, and so I will be reading Romola eventually later on. But now in October it's Felix Holt. Again, I don't know if I have the time to read it. If I don't, I will be reading it later in November, because actually this read-along will go into November, so I may start it only in November. And another read-along I am taking part of, because I'm crazy, is the Star Trek Missions. So I read a book in August from the original series. In September I was supposed to read my favorite series, which is The Next Generation, but I didn't have a book, and I needed to buy a book, and I was very low on funds, so I skipped this. And now I don't know if I'm going to participate. This month we are supposed to read a book from the Deep Space Nine series. We'll see if I have the time and if I can buy a book. And if I remember well, this is my plans for this future times. There I have also, I'm also reading the Wheel of Time series, but I am going to read at my own pace, because I was supposed to participate also in a buddy read with Sarah from Sarah Reads and others, but I'm still finishing the first book, and maybe I will read one book every 2 months, because I want to read lots of other stuff. And for example, I'm reading The Dark Tower, and I am also finishing the book 3, The Wastelands, and I might or not, it depends on the time again, read the fourth book, but perhaps I will read the fourth book only in November, because these books from that I'm going to read now for Victober, they are very large books, so they are very thick books, so not large, big, isn't it? We'll see, but these are my plans for the near future. I am already moving lots of stuff for November, but we'll see. I also want to continue reading the Great Coat series, which I enjoyed the first book immensely. I want to continue reading the Book of New Sun by Jean Wolfe. I love the first book, which I also read recently. I have to say that I don't have a film from what I read in September, because I deleted the film I recorded previously. I didn't like it. Why? Because I don't normally watch the films I record. This time I decided to watch it to insert pictures of the books I was mentioning, and because I watched it, I hated it, and I deleted it. Because, as you notice, I'm always making mistakes when I speak, and then when I start listening to myself, I notice the mistakes and it irritates me. And anyway, also all the pauses and ums and and so on, and then I get annoyed. I got annoyed actually with the film, and I deleted it. So I don't have what I read in September. I might record again a video telling you about all the books I read. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, this is my VICTOBER TBR, and I'm quite pleased with it, although it's too ambitious as always, but I don't care, because it's not a problem if I don't read everything I said I would read. This is not a life and death business, this is just for pure enjoyment. So we'll see. At the end of the month, I'll check in and see if I read it or not. Until next time, have a nice day.